Hello, welcome to AWS Tutorials by Rehan. So today we will see how we can actually create a multi-container application using ECS Elastic Container Service. And just to make it clear, in the beginning we will create our cluster using ECS. Then we will create our task definition with 3 containers. Definitely those are going to be some example containers, maybe from Docker Hub. Then we will run 2 tasks from that task definition on our newly created cluster. So that's the plan for today, and definitely we are planning to utilize AWS Management Console, and we are not considering to use other resources like AWS CLI, ECS CLI, or CDK or CloudFormation. So let's move to our Amazon Web Service Management Console or AWS console. So here we are. After coming into our AWS Management Console, let's select our service. So it would be like ECS Elastic Container Service. Then after coming into this console, on the left side panel we can see we have like clusters, then task definitions, then some other stuffs. And we are here on the Amazon ECS. Then we will create our cluster first. Let's create our cluster. All right, we are going to select the EC2 Linux plus networking one. Give a name to our cluster, maybe like multi-container example, multi-container example. Then let's keep everything simple. Number of instances 1 is fine. Okay, we don't need to change anything else, I guess. Okay, let's create. All right, it's creating the cluster for us. It's taking some time for me. Okay, here you go. We are done here. Okay, let's view our cluster. All right, it's active. Let's then go to our task definitions panel and create a new task definition. I'm going to select the EC2 one launch type. Okay, task definition name. Enter a name. I'm giving a name like 3 container. Then task role, there is no role. It will maybe create optional IAM role. Okay, it will create one for us. And network mode default. Then task execution IAM role. Okay, it will create a new one for us. Task size. Okay, this is the task size. Task size means like, okay, we need to explicitly declare the memory and CPU, and this memory and CPU will be reserved for us. So if we do not describe or put the memory and CPU limit here, then definitely we need to put them for our containers when we will add the containers. So when you will select the EC2 launch type, at that time either you need to put the memory and CPU limit on the task level, or you can put them on the container level. So let's just put them on the task level, which is very easier for us. So I am putting maybe like 512 memory and maybe CPU 1024. Okay, that's pretty fine. Then container definition. So we know that in every task definition we must need some kind of containers, maybe 1, 2, or 3. So as we are testing this multi-container example, we will add 3 containers. So let's add our container first. Maybe I am giving a name C1. This is container 1, and as the image I am going to use the default Nginx one, Nginx latest. And maybe I am going to keep everything as default as they are. And finally, one things we need to select log configuration. I am going to select the auto configure CloudWatch logs. So I am not doing anything with them. That's all. I already added my first container. Let's add another container. All right, I am giving a name C2 container 2, again using the same image. Nothing we are going to do different. Again, auto configure CloudWatch logs, fine. Let's add our final and third container C3. Again, same image. Finally, here we go. Where is our log configuration? Auto configure CloudWatch logs, and maybe we are done. Okay, we are not changing anything, keeping everything as they are, the default one. Let's try to create the task definition. Cool. So our task definition is created. Okay, we finished our first two steps. We created our clusters, then we created our task definitions. Now let's try to create two tasks from this task definition and run those tasks on our previously created cluster. Here we click on the action button, then run task. Okay, then launch type definitely EC2 launch type, and with task definition 3 container we just created, and the cluster, so we just created multi container example one, that cluster we are going to use, and it says number of tasks. So how many tasks do we want? Two tasks. Okay, two tasks. And task group, give a name for your task group, maybe okay, multi container. Okay, and everything is fine. Let's try to run the task. All right, so okay, everything seems to be good and it's trying. So last status pending. Let's see how it goes. Okay, here we can see like we have two tasks created, like this is task 1 and this is task 2. These are the task IDs, and for both of them we are using the same task definition, 3 container 1, 3 container version 1, and these are the container instances. We can see, like, see, for task number 1 we have 3 containers created and they are running. These are the different container IDs. So for task 1 we got 3 containers, and if we go back to our task 2, and we will see like another 3 containers here. Okay, so how do we did today? So we utilized our AWS console. We used the ECS to create our cluster first, then created our task definition, and finally we ran our two tasks created from that task definition, and those tasks are running on our newly created clusters. That's all pretty much for today. Thank you. Stay tuned.